Hi, everyone. Beautiful souls, wonderful readers, fellow spiritual entrepreneurs and seekers and healers and whatever. I'm really excited because I've just been live with Beth Worst, author. She's an author, a friend, and she's hilarious. I love her humor, and she got thrown in Facebook jail. So we decided let's do a live on Instagram. We tried 3 times, was thrown off, and I mean Instagram has been glitchy like crazy lately. So I've decided, not to let my makeup go to waste. And I said, because she's got StreamYard and I don't know how to work that stuff. But anyway, she's got that, and I said, well, let's just hop over on Facebook. And luckily she was able to, do the live thing. She's just not allowed to comment or post in groups and whatever for no reason at all, because she hasn't done anything wrong apart from being a cheery, lively, wonderful self. And but obviously the gods don't like that. But anyway, so I want to talk to you a bit about my work and things I do. And what I would really love to talk about today is my website, because I've been all winter, I've been updating it. I'm still not finished. I've got way over 200 pages on my website. Yes. So it's a hell of a lot of work, and there's more coming as well as we go along. I'm going to take you through that and show you. So, because I thought I'm not exactly the great marketing goddess or anything. So I think, like an SEO is like, what the hell is that? I know you need to be hip with that to kind of get seen on the great Google platform and things, but I'm really not. I just can't face it at the moment. And so I thought I don't know, just make a video about it and show you what's there. And you might be interested to, want to have a look. If you don't, that's okay as well, but you can stop the video. No. uh, no, I'd really like, because I haven't been on on camera for such a long time for more personal stuff and so on, and I thought it would be really nice to do this and just come on, hop on and show you around. I'm recording this on Zoom, not because I don't want to go live. I've just been live, obviously, but I have no idea how to screen share and do all that stuff. So um if you do Facebook Live, and I don't have paid Zoom, so I can't. Even when I did, somehow it wasn't connecting on Facebook to do live. So, and yeah, I'm not the greatest techie in the world. So, and at the time it was probably, I don't know what kind of time of the day it was, but all the techie persons I know were sleeping, so I didn't want to disturb anyone. Nah. Anyway, so yeah, I just thought I'd give you a little tour and show you around what I've been up to behind the scenes, because you haven't, apart from the usual social media posts about books and things, and my own friends, and I've just launched an anthology with um 15 other authors together, Rockstar Romance, and it's been really fun. It's been spicy and great behind the scenes as well. We had a group chat, and that was hilarious. And the other authors are so brilliant. They are we've got New York Times bestsellers, award winning, and all of that, so in there. So it's a good quality selection as well. I don't know, some anthologies you don't know, but this is really good. Anyway, I'm saying so. um, yeah, so I'm gonna give you a tour now, okay? So let me do that screen share thing. Hang on. can't see a bloody thing without my glasses. I'm getting really old. Anyway, okay, here we go. Oh, yeah. There, isn't that nice? Hello. So you can still see me in the little window. But anyway, this is the landing page, right? This, if you put in tirzaschaefer.com right up here, there, you know, where you put in the URL, then that's where you get. So this one, obviously, you know, this is my header section, and so you have this on every page. Then you can see all my wonderful books. I've only put the current anthology on here because it was just getting too crowded. Honestly, I've taken part beforehand in 2 more. And because, you know, obviously anthologies, they're only like 3 or 4 months that they're live, and then they get taken out again. You can do with your stories whatever you like. I'll mention that in a bit again, because for a specific purpose. But anyway, yeah, so it's kind of getting crowded there. Yay! So I was like, and I'm on camera, you know, I can't deal with Photoshop. I have no idea how to work that thing. And so, you know, I'm kind of arranging everything by hand. And sort of, if you look at it, you probably couldn't put a ruler to that. But anyway, you make do with what you've gotten. I think it's still very cute. Anyway, so here we go, a little bit about myself. That is, you know, current Rock My World, Rockstar Romance Anthology, and my book in it, novella, is The Hopping Hippos. And I don't know if you can see that, but you might want to check it out because there's a little hopping hippo here, a tattoo on there. And I'm thinking of getting that myself as well. Wouldn't that be so cute? Anyway, I love that. You know, I've got that at the moment as profile picture as well on my social media. So I'm very playful and silly on one side, and very deep and serious on the other, and all together is kind of an explosion. So yeah, her Badass Bikers, best romance of the year 2022, by the NBC, which is the magicbookcorner.com. And she's an internationally renowned blogger. She's got very high standards and stuff. So you know, she's somebody I greatly, deeply respect. And she is just amazing, an amazing person, an amazing professional, all that. So I'm really so honored. I cried tears like the whole day, you know. When I got this. Amazing. So anyway, so there's a bit from my editor. You've got a few little quotes there about me, and yeah. So, oh, this was a TV interview. I was on Fairy Tale Access. It was about my book Tank, which has ever since got 2 new covers. So yeah. But that turtle, and I want to get that as a tattoo as well. I'll be covered in animals. Anyway, I've only got this this feather here, which is you know, in honor of the goddess Maat, for divine harmony and balance, and you know, this yin and yang aspect, and divine law. So basically, live in alignment. And because I'm doing a lot with my right hand, I'm right-handed, so you know, like writing and doing stuff, and you know, so I see that all the time, and that's why I placed it here to remind myself. You know, I can always see that. They want to put it on my body where it's covered, you know, and it's like how. I mean, Germany is a cold country. How often do I see myself naked, apart from when I, you know, get undressed and get dressed again, kind of thing. So, you know, that made more sense. And it's nice, others can see it as well. and I like it. Yeah, I love it. So anyway, that was that. And then it tells you a little bit about, what you can find and so on. And basically, but yeah, you can go up that way as well. Keep forgetting because mostly I'm in the editor mode and it doesn't work on that one. So then I have to scroll. Yeah, I'm not a techie. Anyway, actually, I've made such good progress with technology. It's incredible. I've started out just being able to type text into Word, and a heading for me was just, like making the line a bit bigger, the font, like put it from, I don't know, like from 12 to 16 or something. That was it. And then click on save and hope I didn't lose it. And yeah, and I made all that myself. So yeah, there you go. So you've got like here, you've got praise, contact, disclaimer, refunds, privacy policy. With the disclaimer and refunds, that's more about my spiritual side. So you have goddess readings, goddess Reiki, literary readings. Then we have there's a bit about me, which you find in all of my books as well. So if you've read it there, then, one way or the other. So here is my romance books. And I'm just going to click that away so we can go to there you go. Anyway, that's, yeah. Doesn't that look nice? I streamlined everything because before it was all over the place. I still haven't totally finished with the different sections, but I really like this because that kind of magenta going into purple, those are like healing spiritual colors, but they're also nice, and you can make them nice and sensual for the romance part of my life and work as well, or life's work. Because this really is my life's work. My heart and soul is in all this. Okay, so that's my big baby here. Apart from my children, obviously, and my cat. But anyway, so we start with romantic poetry. That's the one romantic poetry book I've got, and there's a list of all the other ones. I think I have to reload that. See? Because I just had to change the covers. Anyway, so now what happened, I decided to put the hopping hippos into the what I call the metaverse. Has nothing to do with Facebook and that. Yeah, okay. Meta just means big and like overall and that. So that's kind of a shared world, and you have always different embassies apart from the Seals in Spain, which is a trilogy, and that's with the same people. But the characters pop in and out of each other's books as well. You start with her badass bikers here. Okay. Read the trigger warnings, by the way. That's very important. Some people have different triggers. So do I. Everybody does. There's no shame and it's no blame. It's just the way it is, so read the triggers. And when I say I write spicy romance, it doesn't mean like they're looking deep into each other's eyes, which I do as well, but that means full on all the way sex. Okay, going into kinky, but not BDSM, like proper BDSM or anything. So, and there's always a story. So if you just want to have steam and nothing else, choose erotica books, because I've had people complaining about it. It happens. It's like there's too much story. I couldn't follow it. And I'm like, okay, if you're not in a headspace or you don't have the head for it in general, whatever, this is not for you. I'm a bit of a nerd, so I will be putting stuff in there that has a certain amount of it requires a certain amount of brain capacity, not too much, obviously. I mean, it's not like great textbook or anything, but there's story and there's depth and there are different layers, and there's steam, there's humor, there's some dark, and you've got like a bit of everything. I like that. That's like me. Very versatile and like all over the place. but it fits really nice together in me and in my book. So anyway, yeah, you start with a badass bikers. That's a reverse harem, okay. Um, Slight reverse age gap, which means the female lead MC, main character, right? For those who don't know, sometimes I just forget and I just say FMC or MMC. If you don't know, so it's a female main character and male main character or characters, you know, because in a reverse harem, you have one lady and several men, two or more, you know. So this one has more than two men. Yeah, there's quite a few twists and turns and things, you know, and everybody has very much their own personality. There's lots of sidekick characters and a couple of teenies, and that are very hilarious, especially Daryl, who is, yeah, who is kind of a nerd as well. Anyway, so, you know, quickly moving on, the Hopping Hippos is the next one. It will be published solo, the anthology, and I greatly recommend you reading that before the 18th of August, because it's when it disappears from Amazon, and at the moment it's on KU as well. My books are not. My solo books are not on KU. I'm publishing white. There's no Kindle Unlimited, okay? So anyway, here the Hopping Hippos, that's obviously a Rockstar romance that will be published later on solo, but that's going to be number 2 in the whole thing. So these two are standalones, okay? Complete standalones. They're not connected yet. Because we're building up, isn't it? Just like a story, you build up to the, you know, great. Anyway, next one is Fromance. So that was from an anthology, breast cancer charity. And that was just 5K. Okay, and here we come back to what I said before. I'm going to come back to this one because I'm going to make this the short version. I'm going to make that a freebie for my newsletter subscribers. I'm still waiting for the new cover. And, you know, it hasn't been done yet. So once we've got a cover for it, there's going to be 2, obviously, but they're going to look the same, just, you know, slightly different text. The short version, which is going to be the 5,000 Ks story. And it doesn't have a cliffhanger or anything. You know, you can read it as a short story often by itself. I'm not into cliffhangers either. So you won't find them with me. Anyway, so, you know, that's going to be it. But I'm also writing on, you know, on a bigger one. And then there's going to be the bikers and the hippos in there as well. Okay, so that's the first book where things connect, right? Now, moving on, the seals in Spain, those 3, Tank, Dom, and Seb. Tank is the only one out, and the other ones are not yet. So it's like it's a work in progress, you know, but it's planning. And Tank is out, and again, that is you can read it as a standalone, basically. It doesn't matter because also the other characters from the other books are not in there yet. They will be coming in Dom and some in Seb, you know, so it's not everybody's going to be in everybody else's book and things, but going to be like in and out kind of thing. Some are here, some are there, whatever. So that's going to go on then. You know, those 2, they will have connections. Izzy, that's the one that's out still. I'm going to change that to Izzy's Law, the title, and, you know, work it over and everything. Second one is Ria from the BFF Diaries. Okay. And they have different main characters each time. Izzy is also a reverse harem with a mature FMC, female lead, remember? Yeah, learning, great. So, and Ria is her best friend. There's another friend, like there's three of them. One is Lucia, and she is she's happily married. Okay, but anyway, so these two, Ria also has, obviously they're more or less the same age, both more mature. Izzy is a single mom, but her son is already, out in the world, grown up and all that. And then she meets three younger guys. I'm not going to tell you more about this because that would just, I'm going to do different videos for content and whatever of the books. But yeah, so the next story is Ria's, and she's the only one in all of that who gets a one-on-one relationship, because she's a spiritual artist, and she's half of the time, she's not really connected to down here in the earth, on the earth plane, and so she can't concentrate. She'd go mad if she had more than one guy. But when she meets him, he's a world-renowned stripper, but she doesn't know, and she thinks he's God. Yeah. So that's kind of hilarious as well. It's going to be called Ria's Healing. Okay, so that's going to be that's my version of the new cover. Obviously not as nice as our wonderful, look at this here. I mean, isn't that so cool? Sorry, when I go in there, it kind of changes color, but look, on his hand, right? He's got the turtle. I put the turtle tattoo on there. And it's also, when you see the tank writing, it's also shining through the letters there. So it's like, the letters are filled with that turtle also, which is so super cool. Actually, my graphic designer, she did that, and I didn't have anything. I said, you have to change because it was so perfect. She knew what I wanted, she ran with it, and that was it. She is so brilliant. Her name is Catherine Russell, and you might know her if you followed me for a bit, because she's also an author, and she writes romantic epic fantasies, like high epic, and her books are amazing. She's a graphic designer, graphic artist, like, doing all that computer kind of painting and things, and all that Photoshop. Whoa, I haven't got a clue. And she's got all these brushes with it and whatever. So it's like, it's amazing, what she can do is just wow. And the way she writes is just amazing as well. Obviously a different genre, but it's just so good. Really, honestly, one of my favorites in all the world. Well, all her books are. I won't put it down to one. So anyway, so the next ones that are, as I said, in planning. So Ria's Healing, then is Raina's Dances. Raina is the sister of Lucia, the third BFF in the thing, and she comes to visit her sister, because she's also got a job in New York. So she visits her sister in Brooklyn, and then things happen. Okay, and there will also be the seals in that, from the seals in Spain, from Tank, those three. And haven't really decided, and some of the others as well. So anyway, things are gonna happen. Yeah, and Holly's calendar boys, Holly will be there as well. But that's actually the last one. I don't know. Wix turns and changes that around sometimes. This is supposed to be the number 4 book here, as you can see, book 4. And then we have Holly's calendar boys afterwards. That's going to be a Christmas special thingy. But Holly will also be already in Raina's Dances. But in Spain, okay, where the seals are. So anyway, then we have after that, that's the series as such, and then come the standalones, the Korean Cartel and her Viking Warriors. The Viking Warriors is not a historical romance, it's not a fantasy romance. It's just modern guys playing Vikings in Sweden or Norway. I'm not quite Norway, I think, but we'll see. I had decided on Norway, but Katrin is from Sweden. I've got another Swedish friend, Åsa Nielsen. She is an amazing, amazing spiritual light worker. She does a podcast which is called Almost to the People. And I'm not a podcast person, but I'm devouring every single episode of this. She's just a shining light of such a personality. She's always got great guests. When she's got guests on, it's just amazing. The way she asks questions and things, I really love that. So, go for it. Anyway, and you can watch her on YouTube. I like watching and seeing people, so I do that as well. But you can find Most to the People by Åsa Nielsen, Nielsen with double S. I know I don't speak Swedish at all, so forgive me if I'm mispronouncing anything when I attempt to say anything. But anyway, so yeah, have a look if you're interested in spiritual stuff. Have a look, please, and look her up. Anyway, how Viking Warriors is is about modern Vikings. Okay, so I'm not quite sure if I'm going with Norway or Sweden, but anyway, we'll see. I might do the Swedish thing just so I can ask about words and language things. Isn't that good? Because things are a work in progress. You're kind of planning, then you make changes. I mean, this total shared world, which I call the metaverse world, is it kind of came together from, I had Tank first, then I had Izzy and Ria, then I wrote Fromance, the short one, then the bikers came along, the hopping hippos, all over the place. And I've started a little bit on probably nearly all of them apart from the last two. So yeah. So let's move on from all of this. There's another trilogy, which is by itself, which is Druzy and Chad. Drew is already in existence. Also saying that I'm going to be totally honest and frank here, because a lot of people do not realize what it takes nowadays to be an author and how much money is involved. Editing, a good editor will usually cost you thousands of dollars, and a few hundred for covers and whatever else. This is just so super expensive. And when you're living on a shoestring, you've got a family, kids have needs and whatever, and you want to have something else to do as well. You're paying for your website, for your social media stuff and all that. There is so much coming together, and if you're not a total marketing wizard, you usually come out with a big minus. Okay, there are people who are really approaching that as a business, which I'm not yet. Good, I've learned everything else before, but anyway, I'm just loving what I'm doing, and this is my life's work and it's my passion, so I don't mind, It's not like I'm thinking, oh, that's my new get rich quick scheme. Don't try that. If you want to be an author, that is not the way to. There's other ways that probably get you rich quicker. But anyway, so I've written Drew. It's not yet edited. Okay, because I've had a long time. I had no editors. I've done that exactly, but that video on my front page, on my homepage, where I was interviewed on TV. Tank got from the lady who always presents books, so she reads like a maniac. And she gave me 5 stars for it. She says she doesn't take any books that she doesn't think is 5 stars, not even 4. And I had edited that myself. It's actually in editing now with a professional editor. There's always room for improvement, and I'm learning so much from my editor as well, danasedits.com. Keep that in mind. And she's affordable. She is really, really good. So totally recommend her. But anyway, she's such a blessing. But I found her a lot later, and I wasn't going to let that stop me. So obviously, I kind of jumped in blind. I didn't know anybody else. Only had spiritual friends, and none of them was really, not, at least not openly. I don't know. They might have been ashamed to admit it at the time. Nobody was openly into romance stuff like this, and I just wrote and published, so that's what happened, basically. And I like to experiment, so I've tried different things and whatever. Anyway, these are the Christmas tales. They've actually got new covers now also, and I haven't put them on there yet. Shame on me. Sorry. So there you go. Same with A Little Slice of Heaven. That is, that's a standalone, so you can read them totally on their own. Love in the Sky has a new cover already as well. And those are incidentally the one that have been edited. So Dating a Hero has a new cover, but I've exchanged, I had some help to exchange that hat because he looks a bit like a Bratwurst thug on there from the lowest rank. But anyway, so yeah, one little historical novel inspired by Elizabeth Bennet and Mr. Darcy, Pride and Prejudice, Jane Austen. That I had to, because that's my all-time favorite, and once or twice a year watch that again. The BBC version with Colin Firth is like, there's no other, is there? No. Has to be him. Anyway, and a kind of a Bollywoody thingy, which also has a bit of paranormal, because the goddess appears, goddess Manasa, but there's also spicy romance, and I'm drawing on my own personal experiences with that goddess in there as well, and Cobra as a power animal, because Cobra is also my power animal, and so no disrespect, my personal experience. Okay, so then there's the Her Harem series. I started that, and it was gonna be like basically one book in chunks, in little chunks, and I was going to make that a free series available as well, but I've only got the first book, which is like a freebie that you can, download from different platforms, and Amazon puts it up to 99 cents every now and again, just for fun, to bug me. If you find that's the case, just go on any other platform and download it. But there's only, it's more or less like an intro to the story. And because it's also connected to Iran, I couldn't really write anything much of it, because what the hell is happening there, right? The political situation, women's rights, rioting, and peaceful protesting being put down, and anyway, so all that shebang, you've seen it on the news. We'll see what happens, but I will have to adjust my story idea. And it wasn't my priority to write this. I got sick in the middle of it and had a really bad burnout, which threw me back like 2-3 years at least, with my work. But I'm a one-woman band, better to so I'm just doing as I go along what I can, right? And it's so much fun You know, it's not about like, oh, I have to reach that now and I have to put that deadline. I've totally cut deadlines out of my life now. The anthology, I said that was my last deadline. Okay, I'm just doing it now as I feel inspired, as I feel aligned to do it, because I also do spiritual work and everything. So it, like, you know, I'm hopping between things, and also you know, my work and my self-work also inspires my books. So um that that's why I couldn't write romance, for example, before. I thought it was going to be the second book in the shared world, the metaverse world. And it turned out to be, you know, now that the hippos are there, it turned out to be, oh, it's going to be number 3. I had written half of it and the long version, and then that got, I don't know, the internet gods didn't like it for some reason. Anyway, I lost it. I couldn't retrieve it. You know, it was probably too scrambled up that he couldn't even do the deep search and, you know, whatever that is. I've talked to some techie people and they told me exactly each thing to click on and to do. Walk me through it like a little kid holding my hand. The file was too corrupted anyway. So it's gone. But, you know, with hindsight, I can honestly say good thing because it wouldn't have been half as good at the time. So anyway, so that's that one, and that's the bottom, the footer of my website. So you've got all my social media on there. Here are the services if you want to book me for anything. I haven't got courses at the moment. I put a break on that one for the time being, but I will be back. And of course, the people who have so helped me in my life, they, you know, were absolutely wonderful. Crystals by Susanna. She's the one who's writing Crystal section. I'll show you in a bit. Then there's Tarot for Women, which is Sinead Fine. She's Irish, lives in Israel. And yeah, she's my tarot teacher and my witchy teacher, and I'm also going to do in the future an astrology course with her. So she's absolutely brilliant. So yeah, I'm doing my diploma in tarot at the moment. So I don't want to, you know, I've done the witchy course as well, but that was only 5 weeks. But I said, you know, like I want to concentrate on that one now, and you know, do the rest after. Then we've got Dana's edits, my editor. She is so wonderful, the Magic Book Corner, who was so gracious to award me this, you know, my Bikers, the Romance of 2022 award. And then Catherine Russell is doing my covers bit by bit, and who is also, you know, the last two, they're also my bookish BFFs, and like we talk about absolutely everything. We love each other, and we help each other out where we can and things, you know. So this is really strong women's friendship. So there you go with that one. So then let me show you, there's the metaverse. You know, we've gone through the books, and there you go. I've written a bit about how it kind of develops, and you know, and I'm adding as we go along and as I write, and if any more relevant information comes up, you can read about that here. Okay, so you can keep an eye on that one for yourself. I've put the new covers, well, the new mock-up covers in there already. You can watch, that's a trailer from her Badass Bikers, that with the old, I think with the very old cover, the first cover that it had, but you know, it doesn't matter. And here's me reading from it. Then you have, you know, the different books on there. And right, that was a quick one. Anyway, yeah, you can read about that stuff. I'm writing about it, and you know, so that this is how like a single book page looks like for a single book. It's like you've got the book on the top, then you have the blurb. Typically you have the book's creation, but I haven't written it yet. A teaser, and then you have video section. There's me on TV there. And yeah, this is reviews, so you can go through, read the reviews. Magic Book Corner, she writes reviews, is just so amazing. Not just the ones for me. I love reading her reviews, even of books that I know I will never read because they're not my cup of tea. But I love the way she writes reviews so much. I mean, she's amazing. So there you go, and some more and so on, so we can scroll forever or we can just leave that. And anyway, that's how a single book page looks in here. That would be like, Little Slice of Heaven. That's a standalone. I've got 18 standalones, so completely standalone. They are not going to be connected in any way. But you know what? I might just kind of connect somebody over later on and then just move that into the other section and add them. That might happen. You never know. That's the thing. I keep surprising myself, which is so cool, isn't it? It's like usually like other people surprise you or they plan to surprise, they plan surprises, but they know about it. I surprise myself. So life never gets boring. It's so cool. Yes, and then we have here, that's a section with, you can see that here on the top, that was the romance books, so you've got the main ones. And, oh, actually, let me show you still the Christmas ones because I hadn't exchanged the covers on that page. It's just crazy. I've got so many pages, so much to think of. So here you've got the covers, okay? That Katrin made so beautifully and I'm so in love with. So A New Family for Christmas, Christmas in Montana, A Very Little Christmas, and A Vampire for Christmas. They're called, the series is called Tirza's Christmas Tales, but they've only got the Christmas theme in common. So the Very Little Christmas and the Vampire, obviously, they're the PNR. The Berry is with shifters. My only shifter book. As I said, I like to experiment. Don't expect a lot of shifting. I'm really not. Yeah, it's like this is not my genre, so I've done that for fun, but it's hot and it's cute and it's wonderful. And there's a witch in it and comic twins, and I really love that story anyway. But if you're looking for like a typical shifter romance with lots of shifting going on and all this isn't that. There's one shift in there. Okay. One. It's a novella, it's not that long, but anyway, and that has to do also with the curse, okay? So yeah, Christmas in Montana and New Family for Christmas, the first two, they're both military romance. Here, Very Little Christmas is also military, but obviously is piano. And that one is just, well, the vampires. He used to be in the military as well. And obviously killer by nature, so yeah, you know what I mean. I like the bad guy. He was inspired, the vampire was inspired by Enzo, and I actually called him Enzo as well, from the Vampire Diaries. So it's kind of, the concept of vampire and things is very much leaning towards that one. I don't really read vampire books as such, but I totally love the Vampire Diaries and the originals, which was a spin-off from them, those two TV series. And yeah, so that kind of was a scene in there with Enzo, and his voice is like, oh, I could die for that voice. I just want to marry that voice, not necessarily the body, but that voice is just, oh, anyway. And he's like so much into family and being honorable, and but obviously being a vampire has got a dark side. But this one is a Christmas story, so my vampire has to be very gentlemanly. But of course, when it comes down to it, he can take care of business. Yeah. Yeah. So who needs a doormat? Anyway, moving along swiftly, we've got the spiritual books. So my spirit song is my spiritual poetry book, which has, I think, 176 poems in it, and that I've written over the years. And it's kind of a documentary of my spiritual evolution. There's lots of different things in there about people, like beautiful souls, which I love. People I love. Their special qualities. About deities. Meeting them, and then like just anything. I mean, I've written one about how striking up a friendship with a Christmas tree, for example, and I totally love Christmas. I'm a sucker for Christmas. Anyway, so that's that. Magical family holidays, like a little travelogue. There's a bit of magic in there, a little bit of parenting, because it describes one of our family holidays that really happened that way. And so, going to the Eiffel Mountains, you've got a lot of these old castles everywhere. So we've been there. That's kind of, the time. It's not actually real time travel, but like this, and a little bit of magical things, like this feeling of magic, and you're expecting fairies to come up, but maybe, in this magical garden, but maybe it's just the mice rustling, through the leaves there or whatever. And then How Picasso Makes You a Genius. This is my one and only kiddie book, because my little daughter complained, I'm just writing for adults, and why the hell can't I write at least one book, one for kids? So I did. I love my children. And that was it. And when the lockdown happened, I decided to make that a perma-free. So as an ebook, you can download it for free on all platforms that it's on, which is quite a lot. As I said, Amazon likes to, without warning or notice, likes to put our prices back to 99 cents every so often. If you find that happens and you're shopping on Amazon, just get it from a different site or contact me. Anything like that, because I want all children to have access to this. It's kind of empowering. It's not a story. It's like a textbook, but it's fun and with humor, and it's based on a conversation I had with my youngest daughter when she was 8. So there's a bit of physics in there. So like, how energy works, and it's kind of explained, but it goes into linguistics and ancient Rome and baking a cake and going to the Formula One racetrack. It's like all over the place, but it kind of works and comes together. So it's a bit like me. I'm just like dabbling here, dabbling there, doing this, doing that, and then everything's like, "Ah, this is how all those puzzle pieces fit together." Wonderful. Cavemen are in there as well. Yeah. Probably left something out. Anyway, it's just a little small one, There is a print version of it. Obviously, I can't make that free because Amazon won't let me. But I made it so cheap that it's like the minimum that I can charge, which Amazon, makes you the minimum price that you can charge. Because also, obviously it has to cover the printing and the shipping and that, because it's a physical item, isn't it? So I don't actually earn on that. I just want it to reach as many children as possible. Okay. So that's, I don't have much money. I thought, what can I do for the children of the world? I can't send stuff around by post. Probably never gets there half of the time anyway. So make that free. So if anybody has some sort of digital device, they can access that, download it, and have that for the kids, and that hopefully it gives them a little bit more hope, and because children have suffered the most in all of this. So yeah, lockdown is over, still free. Because I love children, and I want to give them power, empowerment, joy, love of life, and I don't want anybody ever to hurt any child. Okay, that is so fundamental and important to me. You know, wherever I can, spread the love, kind of thing. You know, that's what I'm doing. And I'm not a children's book author. That was for my daughter. It was a gift, so let's gift it to the world. Okay. So yeah, so that's that. And then yeah, so you'd think like I'm doing so much spiritual work, why don't I write more spiritual books? Because it's a longer process. Okay. So what happened is, let's move on to my divine library, which you can see there, divine library, and then you have the different things: goddesses, gods, power animals, tarots, crystals, and the zodiac is there as well. Oops. Don't get overexcited. Zodiac just has like the pages just have like keywords. You know, I'm not an astrologer. That's another thing I want to learn like down the line, but one thing at a time. Well, I never do one thing, just one thing at a time. You know, study wise, like when I do a proper course, and I don't want to do too much at once because, you know, I'm overwhelmed all the time anyway, as it is. You know, not overwhelmed, but like there's so much going on. I don't want to put more on top. I know where my limits are now. I've learned that, you know, during my burnout, it was a blessing because I learned so much from that. So much wisdom, so much clarity, so much learning to take care of myself, love myself more in the process, get to know myself better, which is always, you know, self-work is all about know thyself, you know, all of that, which is absolutely cool. So it was really tough and hard and horrible, but it was also a blessing in that way. I'm a Scorpio, so I don't know, drama happens. Kind of thing. Anyway, so we have the goddesses, and there's the big list. So the fat ones here, yeah, the bold ones, you can click on, and there will be the page of that goddess. Okay, you can scroll them through that. Here you go. Let me just switch that cookie shit off. There. Now, wonder why that is there, because there is always in my books are the archetypes. Goddesses are personified archetypes. Okay, so like if you Google Carl Gustav Jung and his archetypes, if you don't know about that, it's like the mother, the sister, the employee, the boss. Any kind of role we have in life that we take on or not take on, you know, or you know, the different hats of personalities that we kind of switch out depending on whom we are around. You know, those are all archetypes as well. And goddesses have different archetypes. They stand for different things within us, within our own psyche. And I do use the archetypes. They won't be mentioned by name in the books unless, you know, the conversation is kind of about mythology and something else, which doesn't happen all that often. So far, I want to put a bit more in my books going forward, and like, you know, the characters having a conversation. It won't be a central theme in my fiction writing, but, you know, I just like to kind of put little bits of it around. But, you know, so it explains to you where you have the archetype, how that shows up in the story of that book, which is why that book cover is on there on a goddess page. Okay, so that's I haven't got in every single goddess page, but there's quite a few. So yeah, tarot cards, that's my diploma work, so now it's out. Everybody knows. Assigning goddesses to tarot cards or tarot cards to goddesses, whatever, like the corresponding stuff. And but that is not part of the exam as such, because I mean that'd be like mind-blowing, you know, 78 goddesses. I haven't even written about 78 goddesses, and it's been years. So, but you know, as I go along, I'll do that. And that's also the reason why there are not that many spiritual books, because let me explain to you what happens when I write about a goddess, or how I write about a goddess, how I get to write about a goddess. I might come across a name and just read a little bit, mention, oh yeah, she's interesting, I'm going to write about her. She's going to go on my list, okay? So on that list are also the ones that are normal, not bold, right? And these ones I haven't written about yet, but I want to write about them. But the way it happens is I wake up, check my social media, somebody is talking about totally different context, but suddenly mentioning some goddess. Or I follow a link, click on it, and then I see something about this goddess, might be advertising, or going from one link to another and suddenly landing on a page where that is mentioned, and so on. It can happen like in conversation, even. It can happen in so many different ways. But when the universe wants you to take, like, notice something, they will flag in on you. And if you don't get it, they kind of smash it in your face until you get it. Yeah, some people are very bashed heads because, they're a bit slow on the uptake. And I have been on occasion known to be one of those. Yeah, but, you live and learn. It's all a work in process, not just the writing, but also ourselves. And so, but that goddess person might just pop up, kind of thing, and I start reading about it, reading up, and I've got some books. I've got, obviously, you've got Wikipedia and other sources, and there's like a website with there's like an academic website, and there's like archaeologists on there, and linguists and things like that, and you can look up there as well. And all sorts of different places, for each goddess or whatever else is different, because you have from different cultures and so on. Some have very little thing like evidence, in terms of like physical evidence, like kind of writing, historical writing that is left over, or lots have been destroyed, and so on. With some, there is an abundance, there's so much, especially like the Roman and the Greek gods and deities, and goddesses and whatever. But like if you had like an oral tradition, it's difficult. And also, let's be honest, colonialism wasn't a fun thing to do. And indigenous people have suffered a lot, and a lot want to protect their culture and heritage, and they won't share so openly either, and I can understand that. I mean, it's a shame for us, of course, because we could greatly profit from that, but I totally get that. It's like, if you want to kind of show the middle finger, it's like, you want to take everything from us, I'm not going to give you that. I wouldn't either, quite frankly. I'd be very careful who I share my stuff with, my um, with that kind of, history behind us, definitely. So, totally no blame, shame game, whatever. It's just the way it is. So it's like, if you're not part of that group, that community or whatever, is at times it can get difficult to get some information. And that also means that you will see I've got more, well, I've got a real affinity for Egyptian deities anyway, and some Hindu ones, but mainly Egyptian. And then there's the Celtic ones and Germanic ones I'm starting with. It's also, it kind of fluctuates a bit over time. I've kind of started with the Hindu ones, then came the and the Egyptians, and then the Hindus kind of, moved more to the background in my life, and then other ones come and so on. You know, it also depends on what you feel more connected with, what is best for you, how it's best for you to understand the way it gets presented to you. You know, like the archetype is an archetype of your own psyche, yet you're having a vision of a goddess and talking to her and having great conversation in the process and lots of fun, you know. So yeah, but that is kind of, you know, how things happen. And it's wonderful. So if I get a connection, then, you know, once I start the like the academic side of research, I would say, you know, to get all the facts, the material together and everything, and then kind of write that part up, and then I'm already connecting to that goddess's energy, to that archetype, you know. So that's coming in. Then I'm having visions and I'm having conversation, and sometimes that it might be that I'm starting and then kind of stops. And then I know I have to leave it, right? I have to leave it and wait until it comes back, because you can't force that. Yeah, that is spiritual work. And while you're doing that, while you're working with an energy, you can't just do like a, I don't know, like a journalist report or whatever. It's like, oh yeah, how are you doing today? Goddess, so and so. Oh, you know, like you just ask questions and things. It's like it's not just an interaction in intellectual ways. Yeah, it goes through your being. You get faced with your own shit, you know. You get insights, you get shown things, you get feelings, and things come up, and there's a lot of self-work that's involved in there. So when I get my book of goddesses out there, that's gonna be decades of research and decades of work and decades of self-work. Okay, so that's why I don't have that many spiritual books. There you go. Now you know why. But, you know, I've got all these pages of, you know, single goddesses and things on my, because, you know, when I started researching, I was like, I found like the academic side information, and then somewhere else I might find something spiritual, but I might get, if they even mentioned anything academic, it was very short. Sometimes it was inaccurate as well, things like that. And I was like, I got really pissed. Yeah, I was like, "Ooh, fucking hell, you know, can't they have like somewhere where it's all together?" And I was searching and searching for that, and I couldn't find anything. Not that I'm the greatest researcher on the web, I'm definitely not. As I said, I'm not a techie. And I keep saying that, and I know my friends will just tell me, now, don't, you know, don't put yourself down. You're doing really well. Look at everything you've learned. You've built your own website with over 200 pages on there, blah, blah. I know, but it doesn't come intuitively, like, you know, like this, like really taking to it. It's not my, it takes more work for me to acquire those skills. Let's put it that way, you know. So anyway, there might be out there. I haven't found it. That's what I wanted to say with that. So I was like, okay, I can curse the universe for not providing this for me and being really pissed off that it's not there. Or I can just do it myself. Let's do it myself. So I've done it myself. All by myself. It's a work in progress, and it's a slow process. You know, sometimes, I mean, I had phases where I've done like one every week for a couple of months or something, and then I had phases where, you know, it took a lot longer, and or I didn't do for like a year, you know, and well, never quite a year, but anyway, you know, it fluctuates. It depends on where you are in your life, how you're working on yourself, blah, blah, blah. You know, well, you know how spiritual things happen and not happen, and synchronicities and whatever. So, yeah, I'm doing that all by myself. That's basically it. And that's why it's taking some time. So if you want to complain, I'm not just producing all the time, on the dot, on the clock. I'm a human being. I'm a single mother. I'm, yeah, I'm still kind of recovering from those mental health issues. I would say I'm probably 85% there, but there's still some way to go. Um, with my mental health, strength, and resilience, and my emotional equilibrium. Well, that's actually, I'm quite peaceful, but I've cut out so many triggers as well. So I sometimes forget, like when I get triggered, it might get to me a lot more easily still than it used to. And I have physical disabilities. Yes, I do. I've got a chronic back injury, knee, foot, but the back is really, doing my back in. So I have to spend a lot of time actually lying down because otherwise I get really bad pain. And some days are just better than others, Sometimes, like today, I'm on the go. I've had last month I've had a week I had to stay in bed because every time I just turned around or got up or whatever, it was hurting. And it's not like, oh, woe is me and whatever, and I'm doing all this and I'm suffering so much and I'm such a martyr. Please don't get it that way. I'm just explaining my circumstances, so you understand what's behind that, what my life is like, what I'm dealing with behind the scenes. Because all you ever see are those glossy social media posts, whatever, but there's a person behind it, a person with a history, a person with loves and passions and traumas, injuries, everything, I'm a real human being like everybody else. We all have our shit and our wonderful stuff, and which is so good. I don't like going around like, oh, I've got this bad back and whatever, but sometimes I have to explain that because people are like, oh, I always do this, I always do that, and why don't you do that yoga course? And it's like, I can't, I'm sorry. I can't even go on tippy toes because of my foot, with a chronic injury and all my, I can't climb downhill. Like if anything goes downhill fairly steeply, that's like my son has to be there and hold me up because my leg just gives way like that and I just drop. Okay, so if I don't have him to hold on, I'll just slide down there on my ass. That's basically what it is, So yeah, I can't go hiking with you through the forest and up and down the mountains and things, So yeah, that's just I have my challenges and I have things I can and cannot do, but also that means I'm now exploring different avenues. I used to be such a dancer. I used to dance every day, at least 2.5 hours, and then tops. When I was still at school, like proper dancing lessons and all that. And I still dance a lot afterwards through the clubs, through home when I became a mother and couldn't go out anymore that much. So I was dancing through the home. I danced with my kids, put them on my hip and kind of shook them around, I can't do that anymore, but I can do different things now. I can share my wisdom. I can sit down because I can't move so much. Okay, my mind is taking over more, but also I now have the patience to sit down, take a breath, and be in the moment and take it all in, and not always feel like I have to be on the go and I have to do and I have to produce and I have to do this and that and the other. It's like, no, come stop and be with myself, be within myself, right? Those moments have become more frequent, longer in duration very often, and I have so much more inner peace now, which is a beautiful thing. I've learned to set boundaries because I needed to for mere survival, really. And I still had one child at home, and I was like, I have to get through this and still be a mother, and I can't allow her to mommy me because she feels sorry for me and sees what a bad state I am. I slept 16 hours a day. The 8 hours I was awake, I used that time when she was at home to look after her, to talk to her, to keep her informed of what was going on with me, to talk to her about her feelings about it as well, and tell her that she is not my mother. you know, because she wanted to help so badly, but that wasn't her place, right? And she had to understand that. And I said, if it comes to the point where you have to take over that role, you have to go somewhere else. You have to, you know, you have to stay for a bit with another family, foster family or whatever, you know. We didn't have to go there, luckily, but I would never put that on my daughter, you know. But that was like basic survival at the time for me. And I couldn't concentrate on anything. Everything was in a fog. I was really mentally impaired, like nobody's business. And I thought I was going to stay stupid forever. Which, me being a nerd, is like one of the worst things that can happen to me. You know? It's like, anything is better than that. Uh, you know, that's how I am. But anyway, those are all experiences that I've gone through, and the stages of my development, and, you know, things that happened. So I'm not comparing myself anymore to people who are like 20 years younger, who've got all their energies, who put out one book every month. I can't. No. It might take me a whole year, it might take me 2 years, but then that's it. It's my life, my pace, my passion, joy, love, you know? That's who I am. Anyway, next one. So we have the same thing for gods. Oh yeah, also we've looked at that. We've got gods. That list is a lot shorter. You know, especially the ones that are actually in bold that I've written about. You can have a look at that, you know. And then we have our animals. I've got a few more here, but the goddesses are really, you know, they reign supreme in my universe. Definitely, I'm a goddess girl, you know, I'm a goddess. I'm a goddess as well. Everybody is. Anyway, yeah, so we've got the different power animals. So you can click on one of those as well, and it'll show you. That's on the others as well. There you go. Should be some sort of link or whatever. No, don't know. Doesn't matter. Anyway. Oops, what have I done now? Yeah, let's put that away. Anyway, explore by yourself, you know. And tarot. So that's my favorite tarot deck. So you study with this one, which is probably what everybody knows, the Rider-Waite. This one is the I don't know, glowing, colorful, whatever. The Spanish English edition, which I didn't even see, I just looked for a cheap one. The reason being was that the Rider-Waite isn't really what speaks to me, because of, you know, the artwork isn't my cup of tea. You know, that's basically what it is. But you need that to study, because the symbolism on that, all the other, like, yeah, 98% of modern tarot decks are based on that one. The symbolism, which is often lacking in more modern decks, other modern decks, and you know, so you've got everything. This one has, you have numerology. You've got the Kabbalah, the Tree of Life path and things on there, you know, which I know nothing about really. I'm just kind of starting to learn this when my teacher mentions it. She's really into that. She's nearly done nearly, I don't know, 30 years, you know, close to 30 years of being a tarot reader, and I mean, she's gone down every single, like, any rabbit hole you could think of, and still going strong with that. It's, you know, it never stops. There's never an end point. And that's like, it's a journey, and there isn't supposed to be a final goal. You know, it's like the journey itself is the goal, and it's so amazing. And you can do so many different things with it. You know, you can go so deep. You can go in so many different aspects. And anyway, yeah, so and you've got, you know, you've got astrology with it. You've got so many different symbols, and on those, and also the colors, this, are symbols by themselves and things. So this is absolutely amazing. You need this to study with, definitely. And the one I connect the best with, and I've never connected with tarot before I met my teacher, because I thought you need to learn all the 78 cards meanings before you can even start. Well, should have known us more about intuition, especially as I also read oracle cards, and which I have done for years. But well, I don't know. There you go. Anyway, this is the my favorite ones, which is also. Can you see that? Sorry. So yeah, the Light Seers Tarot by Chris Ann, and those ones I have here on my. And I put the Light Seers Tarot by Chris Ann, so people know it's not mine, and I think it's good advertising for her. So I'm hoping I don't get sued for that, but they're just so beautiful. I love them, and I put that it's not mine. Anyway, it's for educational purposes only. So yeah, there you go. There's a bit about it, and here I've done the main page already. You can click your way through. I haven't done all of the individual pages yet, okay? Because yeah, well, whatever. If you have a look. So there, obviously, then I've used the right away because, as I said, of the symbolism and everything, you can look through that. I didn't go so much into that because at the time I did those major arcana pages, I didn't know about all that yet. But anyway, so I might change the text sometime. I've added the keywords lately. And yeah, the card meaning was for what I've written like way back. And then I added astrology, associations, what do you call it? I'll think about it anyway. So the goddesses, the ones I've assigned, like strength is Tefnut, because Segment refused. She said, I am not strength. It's too obvious. She was like that. It was like, and Carly came, was like, oh, you want to be death? And she's like, no, I am the world. It's like, yeah, Carly is the world. And it totally makes sense, once she explained that. Even my tarot teacher, when it, I sent that to her when after I'd written it down, she was like, makes total sense. I never thought of that. And I'm like, yeah, me neither. But that's it, it's like my book characters as well. I plan one thing and then I go like, oh, fuck you, we're doing something completely different. And oh, look, suddenly somebody else turns up on the scene, It's like, what the hell? You weren't supposed to be here. You weren't even supposed to exist. Why are you here? Like, just shut up and write along. You're just the author, it all plays in my head. When I told my son about it, that was maybe a month or a couple or so ago, we talked about it. And my younger daughter, she's very imaginative as well. And she loves making up stories and things. So, I explained how that all plays out in my head and all the things I've got in my head, like with all my different heady kind of interests, And he was like, if I had all that in my head, I'd go mental. You could commit me into, like, to a psychiatric ward and pump me full of meds or whatever. I totally go crazy. And I'm like, yeah, but that's why I don't understand when somebody says, oh, I'm bored, I don't know what to do. And like, uh, read a book, read something else, do whatever you like, or do some crafting. I don't know, anything, there must be so many things that you enjoy. You don't have to enjoy the same thing as I do, can be something different. Just find your passion. You'll never be alone again, and you will never ever be bored again, even if you're sitting in your doctor's waiting room for like 2 hours. There's things going on in your head, and if you've got your phone with you, you've got a Kindle app or e-reader, whatever, just read your stuff. Read up on what you like. That's basically it. Well, why do you want to get bored? Perfect opportunity to learn something new. Yay! Says the nerd. Anyway, so yeah, so there, strength is Tefnut, and she is less ferocious than Signet. She's got a bit more of a gentle vibe, but she can be, I mean, she can be anything she wants, and be ferocious as well, but she's definitely not like this as warrior type. And like Segment, I mean, she's also a healer. Segment is also like the patron goddess of the healers, which a lot of people don't know. They just see her as a kind of a war goddess. But she is she's a lot more, I am here, I'm the leader, and whatever, But Tefnud has she's moisture, okay, saliva, and well, divine saliva is obviously not, like the nothing yucky. Is it's all symbolism and things, so don't take everything like at face value. Any thought of mythology, religious stuff, whatever, there is things buried under layers or layers and layers and layers. So you have to go down that rabbit hole and kind of decipher it. And I'm not saying I know it all, definitely not, because that's another thing. Any rabbit hole you go down, they never stop. There is just no ending to it. Okay, you can always find something deeper, more that side, more that way, and there's one going a bit up, and then it's like it's never ending. It's never ending. Anyway, crystals. There's some crystals on there as well. Then herbology. So I've done research on all this and brought that together because I've never had a connection with plants other than loving being in nature and loving my garden and things. But our garden is actually where my aunt is the garden fairy. She lives on the top floor, and that's been her jam. My mom is a garden fairy. She loves all that. She knows about it. And those two are just amazing with that. Last year was the first time ever I actually grew something myself that didn't die within the first couple of weeks. Yay! So I've grown a few herbs and some chilies and little snack peppers and snack cucumbers. And so we're gonna try something this month as well, plant something. So we've got stuff over the summer, some different things. But yeah, it'll be so exciting. And but I'm just totally beginning, and I definitely do not have any knowledge of like herbal healing properties and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I've relied on what I found in my research. What other people told me, I write that down as well. When I come across somebody, oh, you've got period cramps, you need to use some lemon balm or whatever, it's like that. Okay, let me write that down. Don't take too much or you get more cramps. And it might kind of go through too fast. But anyway, yeah, things like that. So then I'm writing it down, and it's so amazing. It's so interesting. And so yeah, I've got another one. So some have just one, some have several. That's how it kind of plays out. Crystals, again, that's not my area of expertise. I have quite a few, but the expert who always writes about it is my friend Susanna, which we are going to, hold on, tarot, let's put that down. And here as well, we've come to the end. So Crystals by Susanna. Susanna is my dear friend in the UK. She is so knowledgeable on crystals. It's amazing. Totally, anything is up, I just ask her. It's like, hey, what does that crystal mean? Or do you know a crystal for blah 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 whatever? And she's like, there you go, this one, that one. Oh, and I just got an intuitive thing. You might also want to try this because that might be good for you personally, individually. Things. So she has that intuition as well about you. So when you say maybe crystal A is very good to do something with that you've been asking for, maybe like meditation, like an amethyst or something, that opens your third eye chakra and things. She might go, yeah, but you might also, I'm just getting the message. You might also want to try angel light or something, because that there's some angelic energies around you might want to work with or invite in more, things like that. She is amazing. Okay, so amazing. Let's just click on Amazonite, because I think I've updated that page already, I hope. Another work in progress, that section. But anyway, so there you go. That's a little bit about her. Then you have like location, composition of the crystals, general information and legends. There's a picture, connections, goddesses, angels. You have chakras, healing, physical, emotional, spiritual, birthstones and anniversaries, meditation, affirmation, important to know. Usually it's the same everywhere, but some crystals, for example, you don't want to have them touch the skin, like malachite, because that is kind of a little bit poisonous, so you don't want to have that. Some are very easily scratched, or you don't want to put them into sunlight because they kind of bleach out, lose their color, or or don't put them in water because they dissolve, things like that. So it's always worth looking up that part also. And yeah, when I get to it, I will update all of that as well, and add more crystals to it, because I'm in the backlog with that, like with everything else. But I'm just, as I said, I'm doing what I can as I can. So and yeah, kind of a bit all over the place. I'm writing a bit, I'm learning something, I'm going on my website, doing some work, and whatever, and that goes around like this. So this is going to be a really long video, but yeah, you just have to bear with it. So yeah, and that, crystals, then something for special occasions, for love, weight loss, willpower, viruses. There's more to come with that one as well. Even when you're depressed on Christmas Eve and you don't have anybody, because you come from a really dysfunctional family who never had nice Christmases, or you're far away from all your loved ones or whatever, so that, I mean, she will be able to tell you something about everything that's got to do with crystals. It's just amazing. So I've done these pictures with those crystals. I've done those, and yeah. So you can go through. Some of them, they will never ever actually have a page on this website, because Susanna doesn't work with them, or she doesn't. I mean, she sells crystals, but she doesn't sell those particular ones for whatever reason. And there's different ones, but I just thought they looked really nice, so I put some more on there. I really love crystals just because they're so pretty as well. Apart from obviously working with them, which is wonderful, But look, that's the fairy. They also call it a starlight. Is also the fairy stone, so I put a fairy there. It's like so cute. I really like making up those little pictures, it's fun. Yeah, anyway, and kind of, playing with these kind of patterns, the colors and the patterns, and then finding something that goes with that, not, like a stock picture that goes with that. Not, then you've got something about Susanna, which is really the reason why I scrolled through all of that, not to show off my little pictures, but to tell you, have a look at that. She is brilliant. That tells her all about it. She's a Reiki healer. She's all sorts of things. Anyway, and some sort of specialized nurse training. She's got that as well. So she's really good with medical terminology, anatomy. If I have any questions around that, and it's like she'll be the person to ask. And half of my family are doctors, but no, it's usually for spiritual purposes or something. They're not really into that, so I don't like asking them. And my friend, who's also the graphic designer of my wonderful, beautiful pictures, covers. Catherine Russell, she's also a trained nurse, something specialized. And yeah, so lots of people to ask. Aside from my own family. I do love them. It's not about not loving them. It's just we're very different. Anyway, oh yeah, that was the Amazonite page. So now we're going to the zodiac. So the zodiac, you see, is just like there. Let's just click on Scorpio because I'm a Scorpio and I like Scorpios. Um, yeah, so there you can see that very short intro here, big picture there. The dates, I didn't even know the dates might slightly vary, but they do obviously, because from year to year, the Earth wobbles a lot, the stars kind of whatever they do, I'm really not an astrology expert or astronomy expert for that matter. So, yeah. So there's guidelines. If you're like on the cusp of like, October 23rd or one day before or after, or like on the other side, you might want to check with like an astrology reading what your sun sign is, because it might say usually like if you don't put your time of birth in, then it might say like you're a Scorpio when you're actually still a Libra or something. That might make a difference in understanding yourself better. And getting a birth chart done is really something which I think everybody should do. It's an eye opener, especially over a long period of time, because when you look at it in your 20s, you see totally different things, or you don't see yet things that are to come. And when you look back, like 20, 30 years later, it's like, oh shit, fuck. Whoa. That's how it works. It's amazing, and it's always like don't just put in one moment of time, have a look over a lifetime and go back to it, refer back to it, have a look and work with that. Know thyself. Yeah. I love that quote anyway, because it's so true, it's so important. Here, I desire is the keywords there, like the key phrase on top, I desire. Then you've got all these keywords, a bit more for Scorpio because. And of course, in tarot is connected to the death card, which is incidentally, of course, my favorite card. I love the death card. It's not that I want people to drop like flies all around me. Okay, don't take things literally. It can mean death, like physical death, but in most cases, it's not as a transformation, right? It's a death of something, to give room to rebirth as something new. Yeah. So don't go like, oh my God, there's a death card. So, Aunt Anna's going to die now. She's not going to recover from a flu or whatever. Yeah. I must. It's like, it doesn't mean that, like I don't know, I think Sinead said in 25 years, 30 years of career that she had like 3 times. She saw it in the cards, but obviously, you don't tell somebody it's like you or somebody close to you is going to die. That's really highly unethical. If somebody knows who's going to die, like a terminal cancer patient or something, comes to you and says, I'm going to die, but I want to know about whatever, so you can, then of course we can talk about it. But you don't confront people with something like that. But usually death means in 99.9999999% of the cases, it's a transformational card. It's not physical death. Okay. So really nothing to worry about. Don't watch so many bad movies, okay? I'm sure there's a lot of horror movies. I don't watch horror movies, but there's probably a lot of horror movies who draw on all these shitty things and prejudices or whatever. But anyway, yeah. So then anyway, you've got ancient birthstones, you've got traditional birthstones, you've got modern birthstones. yeah, to go with that, which thanks to Susanna and other sources that I've researched, that's what I've come up with. And that's basically all I've got about the zodiac, the 12 signs of the zodiac. So, just get like a little inkling, because, obviously in tarot and with the crystals as well and so on, it's referred to, and I've linked it to that. So if you want to have like a basic quick overview of a zodiac sign, you can do that. I might later down the line add the planets as well, maybe the major planets or something like that, but just in such a style. But really, if you want to know more about astrology, do further reading online, in books, whatever. So that is very important to say, because I don't claim to be an expert in all areas. I like to provide information so you can get it in one place, because I don't like hopping all over the place all the time if I can help it. But it also means, as I said, it's me alone. I'm a one-woman band here, and and I work with other people as well. But where I've got my website, that's what I can do, or what somebody else provides and agrees for me to share from them, which in this case is Susanna. And if you have other ideas, whatever, feel free to contact me about collaboration. I'd be happy to, depending on what it is. We can see if we fit together. We'll see. But basically, well, Susanna, she's a long-term friend of mine for years and years, and yeah, so we're very close, and so she agreed for me to put that on my website as well. Obviously, everything is linked to her, and I'm very proud to have that section as well, because it makes my website richer, and also it's nice for me to be able to kind of say, I've got her stuff on there, and I can look something up quickly. I can quickly connect that also with a link, from one article to the other, which I do, like when I write about a goddess and one of the crystals that we've got a page on comes up, then I cross-link that as well. Those kind of things, or a tarot page, and so on. So that's a wonderful thing, you can kind of, it's a bit like Wikipedia, isn't it? Makes sense, doesn't it? So you can, if you want to look a bit more into something, you can then hop over. If that's still not enough, then you can go wider and search the web. Depending what you're looking for, whatever, So don't be limited. And, I'm not the beginning and the end all of everything. I'm not the alpha and the omega in that respect, but I think I've got a good, very vast divine library. Is free. You can access it anytime you like. You don't need to subscribe to anything. So, because I just love it, and I love to share my knowledge. Okay. I will do some courses, online courses based on what I'm doing, which I'm going to be working on in the future. Again, one thing at a time. So I've got sort of, the sequence planned. I can't give you any dates, because, as I said, I don't do deadlines anymore. When it's ready, it's ready, and you will know about it, because I'm going to shout it from the rooftops then, baby. Yeah. And in advance, I might, those of you who are interested and who know me, and I might ask you a few questions about that as well, do my market research and whatever, because, yeah, see how that kind of fits together, what I've got in mind, what other people would like, and what other women kind of expect or would like, and what they're open to, and so on. Yeah. So feel yourself warned. And then we come to the end of that. I've just been a bit in the editing mode again. And yeah, let me stop the screen share. I'm here again. I'm sure we've got like, I don't know, probably way over an hour, but that's basically it. And that's I've got a big website. I do a lot of stuff, so I've got a lot to talk about here, you know, and I've just given you a glimpse of everything. Just imagine if I talk through every goddess, every book and things, you know, I'm gonna make, yeah, but that's gonna be like all in separate videos. Okay, so otherwise we'll be doing like a whole week nonstop on camera here, and I'm definitely not made for that. I'm sure for that shit. Okay, but now you know what I'm doing, and you might want to go and have a look, you know, so feel free, feel invited. It is free. And I'd be so happy if you came and visit, and I'd be even happier if you give me feedback on what you feel about it as well. You know, what you like, what you didn't, any suggestions, you know, feel free. I'm inviting you. You're always welcome. And so I wish you a good night now, because nighttime here, it's 11:11. Oh my God, it's 11:11 p.m. in Germany. We say 23:11 because we use the 24-hour clock, but 11:11 sounds better, don't it? Anyway, lots and lots of love, and I'll see you in the next video, whenever that is. I'm going to have a good smoke now and then go to bed. Yeah, I'm a spiritual healer and I smoke when I feel like it. So for the time being, anyway. Again. I love you lots, and see you. So much love to the world. Okay, the world needs it. So send out some good vibes, people. Okay, bye.